I've cleaned crime scenes for the past 6 years. I just got sent to clean the address where my family lives. The dispatch came through at 2:17 a.m. on a Friday, which wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the address, 4738 Maple Grove Lane. I stared at those numbers for a full minute, trying to convince myself I'd misread them, but the address didn't change no matter how many times I blinked. That was my childhood home, the house where my parents still lived. I called my boss Leonard immediately. Leonard, there's been a mistake with the dispatch. The address you sent, that's my family's house. There was a pause on the other end, the sound of papers shuffling. No mistake, Kira. Police called it in about 20 minutes ago. Standard protocol cleanup. They specifically requested Precision BioClean because we're discreet and thorough. My throat closed up. What happened? Is everyone okay? Leonard, tell me what happened. I don't have details beyond what's in the work order. Multiple rooms affected. Heavy biological matter. They need it cleaned before sunrise because apparently there's family coming in from out of state. His voice softened slightly. Look, I can send Michaels instead if you need to be with your family right now. This is obviously a conflict of interest. I should have said yes, but something in my gut told me I needed to see this myself. No, I'll take it. I'm already dressed. I can be there in 15 minutes. Leonard was quiet for another beat. You sure? This isn't something you can unsee, Kira. And if it's your family's place, the emotional impact, just think about it before you commit. But I was already grabbing my keys, already heading for the door. I'm sure. Send me the full work order. I hung up before he could argue further. The drive to Maple Grove Lane felt both impossibly long and too short. I tried calling my mother's cell, straight to voicemail. My father's phone, same thing. Delilah's number rang 6 times before going to voicemail. Her cheerful message telling me to leave my name and she'd get back to me. Nobody was answering. And that silence was worse than any explanation could have been. I pulled up to the house just after 2:30 a.m. and immediately noticed the yellow police tape across the front door. The porch light was on, casting everything in harsh yellow illumination. My father's sedan was in the driveway. My mother's SUV was parked on the street. Delilah's little compact car was tucked behind the sedan. All 3 vehicles present, which meant everyone should have been home. A police officer I didn't recognize was sitting in a cruiser at the curb, apparently assigned to watch the scene until I finished. I approached with my credentials ready, my company ID hanging around my neck. Officer, I'm Kira Okafor with Precision BioClean. I'm here for the cleanup. The officer, a young guy who looked barely old enough to shave, checked his clipboard and nodded. Scene's been cleared. You're good to go in. Just stay out of the master bedroom upstairs. That's still an active investigation area. My stomach dropped. The master bedroom. That was where my parents slept. Can you tell me what happened here? This is my family's house. The officer's expression shifted from professional detachment to uncomfortable sympathy. Ma'am, I can't discuss an ongoing investigation, but your family, they're all at County General Hospital. That's all I'm authorized to say. Relief flooded through me so intensely, I nearly collapsed. They were alive. Whatever had happened, they were alive and at the hospital. Thank you. I turned toward the house before he could see me crying. The front door was unlocked. I pushed it open slowly, and the smell hit me immediately. Blood has a distinctive odor that most people don't realize until they've encountered a significant amount of it. The smell was strong enough that I had to stop in the doorway and prepare myself mentally before continuing. I'd done this job for 6 years. Cleaned up after murders, suicides, accidents, and natural deaths that went undiscovered for weeks. I'd seen things that would make most people vomit or faint, but this was different. This was the living room where I'd opened Christmas presents as a child, and someone had bled here a lot. The living room looked like a slaughterhouse. Blood splattered across the cream-colored walls and arterial spray patterns I recognized from my training. The coffee table was overturned, its glass top shattered. I forced myself into work mode, pulling out my phone to document everything before I started cleaning. Photographs from multiple angles, notes about the extent of contamination. The blood patterns told a story. The arterial spray on the wall suggested a major vessel had been severed, probably the carotid or femoral artery based on the height and distance. The volume indicated the victim had been alive and their heart pumping for at least some of the bleeding. I followed the blood trail into the kitchen and stopped dead. Someone had written on the wall in blood, not words, but symbols. Geometric shapes that made my eyes hurt to look at directly. A circle with lines radiating outward like a crude sun. A triangle with an eye in the center. The blood used for the writing was already dried and flaking, which meant this had been done early in the sequence of events. I pulled out my phone and took several photos, zooming in on each symbol. Something about them felt wrong in a way that had nothing to do with being drawn in blood. I climbed the stairs slowly, following occasional blood drops that suggested someone had ascended while injured or while carrying something bloody. The hallway upstairs was dark except for light spilling from my childhood bedroom at the end of the hall. The door was open. I could see inside from where I stood, and what I saw made no sense.